Hi, I'm Ash and welcome to this review of the North Mode Pro 2026. Last year I reviewed the Mode Pro 2025 version and I have to say that it only had a few flaws. Weight, as always with the North Pro wing, and I don't expect that to change in this review, but also the tack was a little lacking and the low end was not overly impressive. So let's see what the 2026 version brings. In terms of design, we can see some minor colorway changes, but overall the wing looks remarkably similar to the 2025 model. The canopy and leading edge materials are the same. We have the shift lock system for handles or boom. The handles themselves are unchanged. The flag handle also looks the same. So at first glance, it's really not that easy to see what has changed, and without the 2025 wing to literally put back to back with this wing, I'd be hard pressed to tell you what has actually changed here. Looking at the video I have of the 2025 wing against the 2026, then a few things do actually pop out. The strut does now have a little bit of a curve to it, whereas the 2025 strut was dead straight. There is also a little more twist of the leading edge going into the wingtips. The strut itself looks a little smaller diameter, and the profile of the wing's fullest section of the canopy looks like it has moved back very slightly. Aside from that, the canopy panel layout is almost identical. We have the same three trailing edge battens and the inflation pressures are the same. It of course has the same build quality and stitching as we've come to expect from North, and their products always look really well presented and high quality when unpacking for the first time. It comes with a North wrist leash with a swivel and is of a bungee style, but overall a nice leash. The bag is also very nice quality and is designed to fit the wing with handles or boom attached. The flag handle does have that slightly weird rubberized knuckle protector that I don't like. I would definitely prefer something softer. We also have dual inflation valves through the two bladders, and they're also connected via an inflation tube with a pinch clip. The valves are the standard North valves, which personally I really don't like. The leash frequently gets stuck around these sticking out valve covers. Okay, that's all I'm going to mention on the build, as it's so similar to the previous wing. All our reviews follow the same format. I'll put that on the screen in a moment, and then we can get on with the first category, which is pumping onto foil. Now, quite luckily, I managed to film and do the entire review for this wing in a single day, and this was due to somewhat unusual wind conditions which slowly built from very light wind to slightly overpowered as the session went on. I did actually forget to do the jumping tests, so unfortunately that will be missing from this review. So for pumping onto foil, I felt the 2025 wing was a bit underpowered with a lower than average low end. I'm happy to say that this 2026 wing is actually quite a bit better, and whilst it still isn't in the territory of best low end on the market, it does now have a very usable low end. Even in very light wind, I was able to pump it onto foil. It doesn't have any issues working out where the wind is or orientating itself to the wind, and the pump was quite effective to build speed. Compared to last year, this is a tick in the box. In terms of pump technique, nothing special is required. It's just a straightforward energetic pump that you would use by default. As already mentioned, the low end is much better than last year, and I found myself quite surprised. It also left me worrying a little as to whether the high end would be compromised, as that is where the Mode Pro usually excels. As it turned out, I need not have worried, as the high end was the familiar locked in feel that you expect from the Mode Pro. It also had what previous Mode Pros deliver, which is just pure acceleration from wind gusts, which is something I've always liked about the Mode Pro. It just has a really planted and effortless top end, which makes riding powered very comfortable. It is a locked in, very stable type of wing with very little fidgeting in gusts or at high speed. The balance between the hands was good, and I didn't feel like I was excessively forth or backhanded in powering the wing. Gust didn't shift the balance of the wing, and it all feels very locked in and speed performance orientated. Now we come to where the Mode Pro typically lets itself down a bit, and that is jibes and advanced jibes. It can without doubt do jibes, race jibes and Heineken jibes competently. The aerodynamics of the wing itself are actually very good. The problem is it's heavy, so you can get tail dropping in jibes and swing weight affecting race jibes and Heineken jibes. It just loses that playful light feeling of other lighter wings and just feels a bit cumbersome, even though it flies very well. I felt that for jibes and advanced jibes it was very much on a par with last year's wing, which also flies very competently and suffers from the exact same issue, which is that it's just a bit on the heavy side and doesn't have that light playful feeling. Where things have improved is with tacks, and we'll come on to that now. Last year's wing was a little technical in tacks. It wanted to fly overhead and didn't really assist you much as the rider in tacking. It was very much up to you as the rider to do the heavy lifting and get the wing through the tack. The 2026 version has improved this and is actually quite a bit easier and more automatic in the tack than last year's wing. It still prefers an overhead tack more than it likes flying on its side, but it goes through the tack very easily and engages the wind nicely as you come out the other side. Normally I would not recommend using a Mode Pro if you are learning to tack, but this one I feel is actually okay and could be used to learn. There are of course better tacking wings like the Unit 2026, but the 2026 Mode Pro has definitely closed the gap to these better tacking wings. For flagging out, it actually flies well enough and is well mannered. It's just too heavy, so the tail dips, you can expect those earlier than a lighter wing from another manufacturer. But aside from that, you can see it's stable and it flies really quite well. In terms of speed, it is similar to the 2025 wing and produces an above average turn of speed as per the 2025 wing, and readily turns gusts into forward momentum. It's a wing that likes to go fast, and you definitely feel that pedigree when using it. Last year's wing was a little unstable in the backwind position, and this year's wing is similar, but again I think it has improved the available power slightly. It also slips through the backwind tack a little more readily than last year's wing. Expect it to move around a bit when backwinded, but at least it does generate some more power and you can achieve on foil backwind tacks without too much effort. Overall, I'm happy to say we have an improvement on the 2025 wing, better tacks, better low end. What hasn't changed, and is my main complaint of the North Pro wings, is their weight. They are still one of the heaviest wings per size on the market. Now if you plan to only use small sized Mode Pros or always ride very powered, then this may not bother you, but if you're using bigger sizes in lighter winds, then you really are going to feel that weight. So let's do the pros and cons. Pros would be nice construction, good high end, good speed, a locked in feel, and improvement on last year in tacks and the low end. Cons would be it's still too heavy, but this year that is the only criticism I'm going to level at it. So who is this wing for? Well, it's aimed at intermediates to experts who want to go fast or ride powered. I don't particularly see it as a beginner wing. For that, the standard Nova I think is a very good option. As always, I'd like to thank George from the Water Sports Centre for the demo wing. This wing is still in their demo fleet, so you can give them a call if you'd like to try it. And that's it for this one, and I'll see you in the next video.